Hey, we are on season 1, disc 3, episode 111, State of Flux for Voyager. If you haven't watched all my Star Trek Next Generations, watch those. Forgive the ones that are gibbery jaffery. Jibber. There's quite a few of them. It's when I first got this new guy and he didn't work all that well. Don't know what was wrong with him. 6 months later, a few updates later, it's a little better. Um, it's amazing how it picks up paper better than it picks up my voice. But anyway, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Carrier, STINA. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy man stuff going on here. And maybe that's why I don't have any subscribers. Could you just subscribe and hit the thumbs up? Hit the thumbs up. It's important. Sorry. So, we are in a state of flux today. There is no voiceover from the captain. So, they're on this planet. And Carrie comes up to him and says, "Commander, look at this. I think there's some kind of apples. The trees are filled with them as far as the eye can see, just over the ridge." Neelix says, "Kalos, aren't they gorgeous? One bite'll kill you. Puff you up like a something kind of fish. First your windpipe swells, and then you think you're going to die of suffocation. Ow, you get a sharp pain in your knees, which begins to work its way up to..." I think we get the picture, Neelix. Sorry, Mr. Carey. Just remember the old traitor's axiom. Never judge a fruit by its skin, or, on the other hand, take a bite. So then Neelix like, "Eat this instead." This is the reason I brought you here, Commander. There's no better source of vitamins, minerals in the quadrant than this ugly little root. I'd say the second best source, acceptable if it tasted better. You humans, you're not used to roughing it, are you? Well, you'll take it from one who knows. The day may come you'll relish every last crunch of Leola. Don't know. So then we're back on Voyager. Paris says, "I don't think we're alone. Mr. Tuvok, run a lateral EM scan for me. Coordinates 81 Mark 40. Running scan," Tuvok says. "What do you see, Mr. Paris?" "It's like a reflection, something in low orbit when it moves into a certain angle from the sun." Tuvok says, "He's correct. I'm picking up an ionized trail. There's another ship in orbit." "Using some kind of cloaking device?" "It's not a cloaking device," Tuvok says. "I cannot say for certain what it is, but the ship does employ some of masking circuitry that has affected our sensors." Voyager to away teams, you got company. And life signs down there, Commander? Nothing but bloodworms. Neelix wants to bring some back for Tartar. He wants to make... I'm trying to talk him out of it. "We're picking up some unidentified ship in low orbit. Collect your teams and prepare to transport back while we investigate." Acknowledged. Chakotay says, "All units transport to site immediately." So then they all gather at the rendezvous point, and Seska is not there. So Chakotay tracks her device. So it's a little dark in the cave and you can't see, but he tracks Seska to a cave. And then they get ambushed by these two guys who are, I think they're Kazons. Then we get a captain's voiceover. "Captain's log, stardate 48658.2. We successfully left orbit without further interference from the Kazon. Commander Chakotay was injured but is recovering from his wounds." I don't like the character Seska. The person is just fine, but I don't like the character at all. So Seska brings him a home uh a home cooked sort of kind of mushroom soup kind of deal for them to have a little private dinner, I guess. Um Neelix calls Chakotay saying someone has stolen his root, and Chakotay knows who it is. It's Seska. And he promises to discipline her for him. Then they are contacted by the Kazon, pretending to need help. And of course, Voyager will help them. But I'm telling you, they're up to no good. I can just see it now. Seska might have gotten promises made. I'm not exactly sure when it happens, but I know it happens soon. That she connects with the bad people and goes off. I also want to mention that, and I'll probably do it every video, and it's probably not good to do it right now, but I just thought of it. Out of all the sci-fi shows theme music, I like Voyager's the most, and I wish I could play it during the thing going, but I can't sing it all. I can't hold the tune at all either. I just thought of that. But they're up to no good. They're gonna get their way on the ship, and then they want to hijack it probably. Maybe ambush it, take over. I'm telling you, you can't trust these people. We require help. Anyone who can hear this message. Long-range scanners pick up the distress signal 3 minutes ago. The ship's dimensions are identical to the vessel we encountered at the planets. It's the Kazon ship. Captain, this may be a trap, Neelix says. The Kazon Neustrom is one of the most violent sects in the entire Kazon collective. We need immediate assistance. We lost all bridge operations. Blah, 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 blah. And of course, Voyager falls for it and goes to the rescue. So they all beam over to the ship to take a look at it. What could do something like this, Torres says. Chakotay says, I'm showing high levels of nucleonic radiation. It seems to be isolated in that area. It's likely that the ship's automatic containment systems were activated when the radiation entered the bridge. We should be safe as long as we stay on this side of the force field. And then Seska finds somebody alive. Away team to Voyager. We've got a single male Kazon alive on the bridge. Transport him directly to sickbay. And he's energized out. Then they discover something unusual. That there is neosorium composite. And no one else uses the neosorium composite except for the Federation. So how did they get the neosorium composite? So now we're in sickbay. Somehow virtually every cell in his body has been altered. Altered? His cells have mutated or they've been fused with inorganic matter. I can't make heads or tails of this. Look at this. His blood cells have bonded with metallic nuclei. The crew members closest to the explosion were virtually melded with huge pieces of metal fragments. He was luckier than the others. That remains to be seen. I'm going to have to do a complete replacement if we're going to keep him alive. We'd better hope there are some compatible donors on board. I'll run a chronological scan, Kes says. We'll let you know as soon as the results are in, the doctor says. So then Chakotay and Tuvok inform the captain that there was an apparent Federation signature to the explosion. What? It looked like they were trying to install some new technology that detonated. You're saying that some kind of Federation weapon on board? A console on the bridge was the source of the explosion. We're not sure what its function was, and it's going to be hard to get to it. Can it transport it out? Not with those levels of nucleonic radiation. The transporter beam would disperse the moment it hit the irradiated cabin. How could they possibly have Federation technology? There are only three alternatives I can discern at this time. One is that it's not Federation technology at all, but something similar. What's going on here? Seska, I think it's you. I could be wrong. Let's go through the episode and find out. So then the conversation continues with the three of them in the turbo lift. Captain, or is it? To another Federation starship may have brought to the Delta Quadrant prior to our arrival, and they interacted with the Kazon Nistrum. Were there any other reports of missing starships? Not to my knowledge, Janeway says. 3. Someone from the ship has covertly given technology to the Kazon. That's my goal. Who was in the cave with these people? Seska. Computer, hold turbo lift. I don't like number 3 at all. Nevertheless, it's the most probable explanation. It may not be a coincidence that the Kazon ship we encountered at the planet was able to deceive our sensors. Perhaps someone transmitted instructions to them before we arrived. I want you to personally go through the transmission logs, Tuvok. Compare them to the actual telemetry. See if there's any evidence of prior contact with the Kazon. Who would have a chance to meet with them while you were on the surface? 12 people. We were all scattered all over the area. You did discover Ensign Seska in proximity to them. Seska almost killed me because she thought I was Kazon. She wouldn't do something like this, Chakotay says. Yeah, Chakotay, you might want to rethink that statement. Why would anybody betray us on the ship? We're all in this together. We need to retrieve the console and get some answers before the rumors get out of hand. So then we're all in engineering. Torres says, or B'Elanna says, releasing the force field isn't an option. That would just allow the radiation into the whole cabin. We could generate a localized subspace bubble to get past the force field, Seska says. One minor subspace disruption and you're dead. It's too risky, B'Elanna says. I'd be willing to risk it, Seska says. We could use an expander to manipulate the containment field, Carrie says. Manipulate it how? B'Elanna asks. Move it out of the way. Rotate the field and the radiation trapped inside away from the console. Once we clear it, we have access. How long would this take? Captain asks. We should be able to take an attempt by tomorrow. I want it ready by the end of the day. No, Captain. When I say tomorrow, I mean tomorrow. I don't exaggerate. Tomorrow is the best I can do. Understood, Lieutenant. All right, we'll begin on the Kazon bridge. Carry Nikote Seska. No, I want Seska to coordinate the operation from our bridge. Okay, Herod, you're with us. Dismissed. So then Seska's like, what? Why did you do that? Why did you say I couldn't go on the away team? Why? Well, you know what, Seska? This has got your fingerprints all over it. You were at the scene of the crime. You were in the cave with those Kazon peoples. You look guilty, Seska. You do. Chakotay's trying to keep the benefit of the doubt going here. He always does, and he gets in big trouble. Couple episodes down the road, he gets in massive big trouble. And regrets it. What was that all about? Seska asks. What? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. There's nothing important to do on the bridge. I disagree. We need someone up there who... What the hell is going on? I'm concerned with you. Blah, 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 blah. He tells her all that stuff about the cave. So then Seska goes to the doctor's office. How's he doing? She asks. Not very good. We need to completely replace his blood. Will he regain consciousness? I'm not sure. Even if he does, there's no way to predict what kind of brain damage there might be. He's the only one who really knows what happened on the ship, Doctor. The only one who can tell them I had nothing to do with it. I don't understand. Would you call me right away if he wakes up? All right. Ensign, did you ever come in to leave a blood sample on file? No, I never got around to it. Wow. I've been running a crew compatibility analysis and your file never came up. My blood won't help you. I had a childhood disease that infected it. I was warned never to donate blood for transfusion. All the more reason we should have your blood on file. I will. Right now I have something more than... She's avoiding the issue. She's avoiding the issue. There's something going on with her. I'm telling you. So then we have a covert meeting between these three. Someone did make an unauthorized transmission, and whoever it was an expert at covering their tracks. The signal was masked by a test of dorsal emitters that we conducted last week. Who was working on the test? Only the whole engineering crew. We're trying to trace the station where the signal originated. Again, the perpetrator was skilled enough to make the tracking process extremely difficult for us. It's like working backwards through a maze of circuits. We'll keep bumping into dead ends. Paris to Captain Janeway. Please report to the bridge. There's some tricky stuff going on here. Some really tricky stuff. So, apparently, there's another Kazon ship in the area, and they're coming towards Voyager. So, Seska's trying to prove that she's innocent, and in trying to help, she walks through the first force field and gets radiation burns. So then she ends up in sickbay. So then the fingers are pointed every which way. So now it's been set up to look like Mr. Kerry is involved in something nefarious, and they bring him in for questioning. And he's not sure what's going on here. And he denies ever doing any wrong. But they're going to restrict him to quarters anyway, just until the investigation is cleared. Captain and Chakotay have a little difference of opinion on whether it's Seska or Kerry that's the guilty party here. So then the other Kazon ship arrives. My name is Kola, first Magi of the Kazon. What have you done to our ship? We responded to a call for help. Unfortunately, by the time we were able to respond, all of the crew were dead. I would like to speak to the survivor. He hasn't regained consciousness yet. We have him in our sick bay. We'd be happy to beam you aboard so you can see him. Okay. So they all go into sick bay. Introduce everybody. Well, the good news is we've been able to stabilize him. We've had to completely replace his blood. Replace his blood with what? The blood of volunteers from our crew. They saved his life. His own blood cells were killing him. They were changed by the accident on the ship. Changed in what manner? We haven't been able to determine that yet. We were working on a plan to access the source of the explosion, which should answer a lot of questions. That will no longer be necessary. We'll take the damaged vessel to our port for inspection. I'm afraid we can't allow you to do that just yet. What gives you the right to interfere with our affairs? There was a trace of Federation compound in the remains of the explosion. We have reason to believe that someone aboard this ship gave technology to your people. Until we have a better explanation of what occurred, I can't release your ship to you. And he says, that's not acceptable. And she says, well, it will have to be. Your unique technologies make you brave, Captain, but you're only one ship. In less than a day, there'll be 4 Kazon vessels here to blow your bow off. Perhaps we'll have the answers we need by then, Janeway says. You'll leave us with him. I assume they'll want him taken back to the ship. I'd rather not let them do that, just in case he regains consciousness. He can answer a lot of questions. Can I tell them it's not safe to move him? Yeah, the doctor says that would be the truth. So, Kes tells Janeway she found out a little something interesting about our Seska. I was analyzing her blood chemistry to try to locate a compatible donor. When I got the results, her blood was lacking all the common Bajoran blood factors, meaning the only conclusion we can reach is that she's not Bajoran. It appears Seska has been genetically altered. My suspicion she was born Cardassian. Oops. So then we have a private meeting again, and they're telling Chakotay, you're making me believe she's a Cardassian agent who infiltrated the Marquise. Starfleet Security has documented several incidents in which Cardassians have used cosmetic alterations for the purpose of infiltrating an enemy. This is crazy. This is just impossible. The doctor has informed us there's no other plausible explanation for the medical anomalies, Commander. If you don't mind, I'd like to hear her explanation before we dismiss it. Has she been told? No. Chakotay says he wants to be the one to do it. So they're back on the other vessel trying to retrieve the Federation equipment or material, whatever it was. And he's like, you're trespassing again. I told you to stay off my ship, but you're trespassing again. And she's like, we're investigating. So they finally get at the device. And it's a food replicator. So, it's time to have that uncomfortable talk with Seska. We've recovered the console. It's a replicator constructed from materials from Voyager. I suppose now that everyone thinks I went over there to destroy the evidence. Did you? I was only trying to show everyone, I really think I had something to do with this, don't you? To be honest, I'm not sure anymore. He wants her to explain it. I've been thinking about what's been real and what's not. What's this about? What's wrong with you, Chakotay? Talk with me. What would you say I owe to a Cardassian who infiltrated my crew? What are you talking about? Isn't that why you never got around to blood analysis when we came aboard? I didn't get around to it because I didn't get around to it. Turns out your blood is missing all the common Bajoran blood factors. It's a side effect of Orchid's disease. Ask your doctor. Orchid's disease. A childhood disease that swept through the Bajoran work camps during the occupation. Thousands of children didn't survive. Thanks to a bone marrow transplant from a sympathetic Cardassian woman. Her name is Ketrel. When you get home, you can ask her yourself. You must think I'm horrible. Do you think I gave my heart to Marquise? She's playing it good. So then Chakotay and Tuvok have a talk about it. There's another ship coming towards them too. So, they're down to two suspects. Seska or Carrie. And they're going through the security stuff. And the code that was entered into the system was Seska's. Or it has to be Carrie. It's the two people. It's either or they're debating and investigating. Then Chakotay comes to her and says, we know who gave the technology to the Kazon. You. Look, I don't know what evidence you think you found, but we found the evidence you put there for us to find. Your own security code. I have no idea what you're talking about. We already know where the stolen materials had taken from before I met you. We were monitoring the inventory manifest, hoping either you or Carrie would try to cover your tracks. Hell of a way to cover my tracks, putting in my own security code for you to find. That's exactly what you did. You knew no one would believe you would be that careless. You wanted us to believe that someone else was trying to frame you. Ever consider that someone was? Uh-huh. And it only gets worse from here. We know it. So they bring the doctor in to talk about Orchid's disease. I say a doctor less informed about Majoran medicine might have been fooled, but my program indicates the complete Majoran medical text on Orchid's disease. There's no way any childhood virus or Cardassian bone marrow transplant can explain away the genetic markers in your blood. You are Cardassian, Ensign. But that didn't necessarily make you a traitor we were looking for. We needed more evidence, and you gave it to us. The one thing I can't understand is why. I did it for you, Seska says. I did it for the crew. We are alone at the mercy of any number of hostile aliens because of the incomprehensible decision of a Federation captive who destroyed our only chance to get home. Federation rules, Federation nobility, Federation compassion. Do you understand? If this had been a Cardassian ship, we'd be home now. We must begin to forge allies. To survive, we must have powerful friends. The Kazons were willing to be our protectors in return for some minor technology. And Janeway says, minor technology that could change the balance of power in this quadrant. Change it in our favor, Seska says. That's all that matters at this point. Building a base of power in this quadrant. You are a fool, Captain. You are a fool to follow her. I can't imagine how I ever loved you. And Seska beams out. They try to stop it, but they're unable to do that. And she beams to the Kazon ship. They try to pursue the Kazon vessel, and it gets away from them. And Janeway says, we still have time to do Seska another day. Let's just continue our voyage. So then Chakotay has a talk with Tuvok. Can I ask you to be honest with me, Lieutenant? As a Vulcan, I am honest at all times, Commander. That's not exactly true. You lied to me when you passed yourself off as the Marquise to get on my crew. I was honest to my own convictions within the defined parameters of my mission. You damn Vulcans can and your defined parameters. That was easy for you. On the contrary, the demands on Vulcan's character are extraordinarily difficult. Do not mistake composure for ease. How may I be honest with you today? I'd just like to know, for someone who pulled the wool over my eyes, was I particularly naive? Was I not paying attention enough? What the hell was it that let you all spies get by me? Like all humans, you depend on feelings and instincts to guide you, and they inevitably let you down. Particularly naive? No, Commander. I've always considered your attention span to be adequate. Did you ever see anything about Seska that made you suspicious? No. She quite expertly pulled the wool over my eyes as well. Well, that makes me feel better. Curious, what? That my added failure to your own should prove your feelings. Misery loves company, Chakotay. And that is the end of the episode of State of Flux. So, let's see if I can do this. So, we almost finished with this 3. We have one more episode, Heroes and Demons, next week. I hope you'll stay tuned for that. I hope you'll hit the like and subscribe. I need the subscribers. Check out my daily book reviews too, on my If Then Fridays and my Flashback Mondays. Please, thank you. Have a good one.